Junior gliding is the only thing that happens like this in all of Europe. We bring juniors from all around the country together at the same age to socialise, to mix together, and everyone encourages everybody else to do things, to go and explore, like here, to go and do ridge flying. If you're on a flatland site, this is amazing. If you're normally at a ridge site like this and you've never done racing, you've got racing pilots who get to go and race together. That's amazing. There's always something you can do. There's always somebody else that's done it, and they can help you, encourage you. So everyone's building everybody else up. There's a massive amount of enthusiasm and energy that goes on. It's wonderful for that.
Obviously the flying is incredible to be up in the sky, awesome views, up above the clouds sometimes, up in wave or wherever people go, like, it's just amazing. I have the best feeling, which is you come off the top of the launch and you look around and you've just got this new landscape that you've never seen before, and you know, you can see the sea from here and all the mountains, and it just takes your breath away for a minute, and it's that sort of feeling. That's why we do it. And the second reason is the people. Everyone's really, really good fun. Everyone's wonderful, really supportive, really helpful.
The brilliant bit about having young people in gliding is it's the future of the sport. We need young people to come in.
There you go, Poz.
You go on to the agenda then, Lucy. All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us. We're this evening, hopefully, just going to be a bit of an introduction to UK junior gliding. So we're really lucky this evening to have Andrew Perkins, Chairman of the BGA, going to do a short introduction. Then we'll look into the what junior gliding is, a little bit about junior gliding centres. Moving on, then how we're encouraging new people into the sport, and more importantly, maybe, is encouraging existing juniors to stay. Talk about the junior development team, and then what we can do over this autumn to try and keep people participating over the next few months in this horrendous time we're living through at the moment. Anyway, I understand that Andy has got some particularly difficult teething problems. I think it might be his kid rather than Andy, but I'll leave him to do his introduction before he has to shoot off. So Lucy, if you want to pass over to Andy.
That's great. Well, good evening, everyone. It's certainly a pleasure to see everyone. And as everyone has kindly said already, it's unusual and unprecedented times. And what is fantastic is the fact that there are so many people involved in the sport of gliding, and that everything is still continuing. In terms of, it's nice of Steve to sort of mention everything going on in the background. And yeah, it certainly makes it for a challenging time. And I think what's great is the fact that we've got all the technology to enable us to keep in touch with everybody over the winter months, and hopefully to do some interesting and exciting things with gliding, even if we can't physically get to the club as much as we'd like to. As has already been mentioned, the first thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that junior gliding is the future of the sport. And it's been fantastic for me to see this evolve over what is now 20 years, which is starting to sort of show my age, in terms of when it was in its infancy, and seeing how much it has developed, and the fact that it has its own sort of identity now is fantastic, and is a credit to all of you that are involved, that you're still pushing forward and developing new ideas and new ways of engaging people in the fantastic sport of gliding. Now, getting involved is one of the big bits that is quite difficult, but actually the majority of people who are sort of junior glider pilots or in and around the junior gliding scene are actually going to be the least vulnerable for all the pandemic elements that are going on at the moment. And actually, we really need you. And it's not just about ourselves, but actually, I think there's a lot that you can get out of it. But actually, not only are you the future of the sport, but actually, I think you offer us a key to the success over the next couple of years in particular. For anyone that has got the time and the energy, moving into instructing and helping support the club management structure would be fantastic. Not only for yourselves in terms of developing your skill sets and having a lot of fun, but actually helping the sport at a time when, because obviously our sport is quite sort of top heavy in terms of age demographics, So having more and more young people boosting the numbers and really sort of being participants as well as actively involved in the running of the sport makes a huge difference. Now, that was the other bit I was then going to sort of go, is keep it fun. Now, that may sound a bit of a bizarre thing to sort of say, because obviously everyone wants to have fun. But as you just saw from that short clip, no one was really spending a lot of time talking purely on the technical side of gliding. It was all about actually how enjoyable it is to spend time with other people, enjoying the passion of gliding and seeing all the different sights that you see, as well as harnessing the energy from the sky. So all I'd say is keep doing what you're doing, keep it fun. If anyone sort of tries to get in the way of that and sort of starts putting lots of regulation in the way, come direct to me and let me know what it is. And I'll do whatever I can through the exec and through the main sort of organisational side of the BGA, just to try and assist making sure that we keep regulation to an appropriate level, but importantly that you have the freedoms to go and enjoy yourselves and do as much flying and carve out sort of new ways of doing things without sort of obviously endangering anyone. Spreading the word. Yeah, I like the fact that Steve smirked at that bit, that's good. So spreading the word is crucial. Now, as we talked about, if we sort of go back to getting involved to ensure the sport will flourish, spreading the word and involving people you know is vital. Because at the end of the day, if you love the sport of gliding, the people that you hang around with would probably also have similar interests. So all I'd say is do that, but also try and encourage other people in, because it would be great to try and to continue the diversity and also to really revolutionize the whole of the aviation industry by using gliding as a way of harnessing and bringing people into aviation. And one of the things that I think is fantastic about gliding, and I always loved right in my early days of starting gliding, is that it's real flying, it's really pure, and actually all the skills that you learn as a glider pilot transfer fantastically into the commercial world and actually set you apart in terms of others because of the way your skills have been developed. Funding, free flying, there's lots out there. There's, believe it or not, still with the current climate the way it is, there is still lots of funding and opportunities out there. I'm not going to use this session to sort of go into detail of that, but all I would say is people still aren't using Google enough to find all the different opportunities that are out there. So all I'd say is keep pumping free flying and scholarships and things of that nature, all those sort of keywords into Google to find what those different opportunities are. And as we come towards the end of the year, this is typically when a lot of those scholarships and sort of funders will be available for new applicants. So I would again recommend having a good look at those, particularly if it ends up as a long, dark winter with a bit of time on your hands, just so that you're ready. And then the last one is just go for it. You are in a fantastic cohort of people. The people that I've seen develop junior gliding over the last 5 years, 5 to 10 years, because they are getting a bit older, some of them, they've done a cracking job. And importantly, it gives you a fantastic opportunity to really carve out the path of the sport. Now, one of the things we're going to be launching towards the end of this year is a national survey. And it may sound a bit dull, but I really would love all of you to partake in that. And what we're really keen to do is, as well as listening to the club, which is obviously how the BGA is formed, is member clubs that you're all members of, what we really want to do is to drill even deeper into the detail of what glider pilots want out of the sport of gliding. Because from where we sit, particularly in the crisis that we're going through at the moment, we want to make sure that gliding comes out of this stronger and able to support all of the needs of gliding, but also to develop things for the future. So all I'd say is grasp it, go for it, do as much flying as you can, keep flying all winter. And if you can get involved with junior gliding, I would recommend it, because it's set up not just my flying skills over the years, but friendships to continue to this day. That's all I want to say. I will be around sort of dipping in and out this evening on the call, but I am going to go and deal with a 1.5-year-old whose teeth are hurting. So as I say, hope to see you all at some point. Do as much flying as you can. See you soon.
Well, thanks very much, Andy. I really appreciate that. It's great that the chairman of the BGA will take up his Saturday evening to kind of come and carry on supporting junior gliding. So anyway, the next, I'm trying to go on too long about this, but I just want to introduce junior gliding to hopefully a new audience. This was all set up as I was starting to get towards the end of my university days in 2008, 2009, and we were starting to work out what was going wrong. The junior nationals were starting to slow down a little bit. We're getting a few less people turning up, and it felt like something needed doing. So a few of us got together. Andy was chairman at the time, but he was kind of people, me and a couple of other people, including Alison Randall, and we had some various meetings and decided to set up the official UK Junior Gliding. And from there, the next few slides will show you what we've done at kind of more boring club level, that maybe doesn't affect each individual junior, but it does help clubs bring juniors together, and then hopefully help juniors themselves in the sport. So if you want to go on to the next slide, Lucy. So anyway, absolutely, starting at the bottom, this is what junior gliding is. We have our mission statement. It's to promote and encourage juniors within the UK, and really help remove any barriers, whatever they may be, throughout the sport, to help young people, because in the end, as Pete said in that video at the start of this video, the juniors are the future of the sport. Without them, it's not going anywhere. So that's what we've been set up to do. So next slide, please, Lucy. So then it sounds fairly obvious, but it's anybody under 26. Literally last week, I had someone message me saying I'm 25. Am I too old for this? Absolutely not. Junior gliding up to 26, yes, you're a junior, but even after that, it's we want people to get involved, helping out, etc. We can't do it without all ages. And what we're trying to do is promote engagement, and by that I mean we want people, basically fear of missing out. We want people to be making friends. We want people to be seeing events going on they want to be part of, and that's as we talk a little bit later with the winter series and the summer series and the junior nationals that we run. People they don't want to miss out. And you see that picture in the back of that slide. We're having we've had over 100 people turn up at some of these events, and people really don't want to miss out anymore. And that's what we're trying to do, and want people to engage in that with our Facebook, with our YouTube channel, etc., which we'll talk about in a little while. And that leads to the sense of community. So we've got clubs spread across the UK, but on the other hand, the internet, the social media, and now these events is helping us. Although you may be living 200 miles away from someone, we're seeing each other more and more across the year. So it previously, before we set this all up, it was once a year we'd have a junior nationals, and you wouldn't see your mates again for another year unless you really worked hard. So that's been hopefully quite a success, and people are kind of creating friendships, as Andy talked about, that will continue for a long time. And again, sharing stories, photos, etc. That goes with our social media presence, and we're always trying to build that. And so if anyone has social media, they're into it, they like doing films or whatever, they're marketing or whatever, please do. We're always looking for people to help us out, give us new ideas, etc. And UK Junior Gliding TV, it's a little bit quiet at the moment because it takes a lot of time to build these videos, and the various people that we've had, editors over the years, they've run out of time, had kids, gone offshore, whatever it may be. So but please do check out our YouTube channel as and when, because the amount of people that we get come up to us and say, oh yeah, we're just going through YouTube, saw your fantastic videos, and started up in the sport. So again, we're going to try and keep that ticking over as we can, because it's a really great tool for us. Do the next slide, Lucy. And that's where we our image. It's a unique place to be gliding. You look at that picture there. What other group of young people get to do this? We really need you guys out there, and to pass on to your mates at the club, mates at school, mates at university, mates at work. Just get people down and show them it isn't just some just sat there and kind of above your gliding club and floating back down. We're we can go places and do cool things. Okay, next slide, Lucy. Right, the junior gliding centres. Now, these was one of the original things set up. We had to do this before we did anything else with junior gliding, and this is the boring paperwork side of things, but it was really important, and it effectively allows clubs to become accredited. So they've got a single place that they can pick up all the child protection forms, etc. They know, clubs can feel confident that what they're offering juniors, young people coming to clubs, and parents who've got questions, whether they be scouts or whether they be out air cadets, whether they're just new people to the sport. Junior gliding centres have given the clubs real confidence that the paperwork they've got and the processes they're going through are exactly in line with legal requirements, and that's based upon the Sport England's club mark scheme. So it's been tried and tested, and seems to work well. They should be, as a minimum offer, clubs should be helping juniors through, really. There's lots of lines there, but effectively it's helping young people. Whether some clubs can offer more financial help than others. It's not all about, right, let's just give juniors as much free flying as we can. Some clubs can't afford that, and we understand that, but it's doing their best to help out. And also the life experience side of it, learning to drive the golf buggies as a 14-year-old, fantastic. Don't usually get to do that till he's 17, or learning to fix a winch or whatever it may be. Lucy sat there quietly at the moment. She's doing a little bit later, but she's learned to started CFA gliders with her home club, and now as an inspector. So it's really we're really helping clubs, really encouraging them to help juniors with more than just get in the air cheaply, but add a little bit more to it as well. And we're going to be pushing this again. It's gone a little bit quiet on this, but for instance, if you look on the next slide, Lucy, we're looking out for the UK Junior Gliding logo. Now I fly at Lasham, and we see their Junior Gliding Centre, and great big link on the front page. We're going to be encouraging clubs who are junior gliding centres, and there's a map of them on the BGA website, to make sure that link is right at the start, right at the front of their website, to encourage young people. So that hopefully takes them through to a junior gliding part of their website, show them if they've got any offers on for young people or cheap flying or whatever it may be. So anyway, moving on, how are we going to encourage new members? Lucy, if you could just... Sorry, it's a bit clunky this, but Lucy's better on computers than I am, so she's running this. We want junior gliding centres to provide a friendly place for young people to join. It can be an intimidating place. It's as we've said, it's a lot of people who are retired flying, been flying for many years or something. It could be quite an intimidating place for a young person to come along to. So we want people to feel really encouraged to come along and enjoy it, and also that those clubs to break down the notion that it has to be expensive. Some clubs offer, you work on, doing winch driving, you get free winch launches or whatever it may be. Really help trying to work to, it's sometimes not easy to earn enough money that's required to be at the top of the sport. So we're doing our best to help clubs help the younger people in the sport to be able to afford to do it. And then we're also creating those links with university gliding, the scouts, the air cadet schools. When this all started back in 2010, 2011, we had the air cadets, and there were about 200 scholarships of anyone who was coming out at the other end of the air cadets. They'd gone solo, but there was nothing left for them. We were offering them to come into junior gliding centres to learn to do sport gliding, to build on their fantastic training they've had previously. And we continue to build those links. University gliding is going from strength to strength. Lucy again, she's been fantastic with Loughborough University. There's all sorts of universities across the country now, getting bigger and bigger, and that's really grown in the last few years, and that's fantastic. And then we got the Junior Gliding TV channel. We've spoken about that already. That again has been really great for our young people getting into the sport, but for clubs to use in their marketing. we encourage it. If you want to use this in, show your mates, if you're doing a presentation at school about it or whatever it may be, then please do use the YouTube channel. We'll make it all available to you. And then links with careers. We'll be doing a presentation later on this autumn, I believe, with flight deck wingman Andrew, who runs that, Andrew Neofita. He's been, for instance, he's been fantastic, kind of helping us learn what we can do to help people get into a career in aviation, because without needing an engine, we're pretty cheap actually compared to a lot of aviation forms. And so many pilots look back and they started in the air cadets or as young glider pilots, and it's our links with careers, whether it be commercial, whether it be in the military. We are a great place to start, and we're really kind of trying to push that. We've had a few people come along, and we've been doing some careers presentations, and the parents have come along afterwards and said, "Oh, it's really difficult. This little Jimmy or little Jenny or whoever it may be is really, loves their flying. It's £200 an hour at whatever GA airfield they're flying from." So I've talked to them about how cheap it can be to go gliding and then get your NPPL and then move on. And they've started gliding and not looked back. So it's been really great to have that. So anyway, moving on to how to encourage people to stay once they're gliding. If you could go to the next slide. The big one, and I think the biggest success we've had, is with the winter series, building on everything that I've talked about before with the junior gliding centres and making sure that child protection's there, and so young people feel safe and so their parents feel safe for them coming. The winter series has enabled people to not necessarily miss out on their summer flying at their home club, but they've come along, learned to fly at some fantastic sites that they may never have visited before, met new people and flown in some incredible gliders. And it really is a fantastic weekend, which I encourage anyone who wants to try out some different type of flying, ridge, wave, whatever it may be, to really do your best to come along. Now, we've not been able to do that this winter, obviously, yet, for COVID reasons, but we do have some irons in the fire with that, and we're going to do our best as soon as we can to get some sort of winter series going. But hopefully 2021 autumn and 2022 winter will be back to normal, and we'll talk more about that later. The Junior Nationals has been running since 1989, I believe. That speaks for itself. It's a competition at the end of August, which we have everyone flying every type of glider there is, from old wooden gliders to right up to the fanciest ships. Everyone can compete as long as you've got your silver, which is just your 50k, 5 hours and a height gain. It's not difficult to get to that level, and then the Junior Nationals really helps young people start their cross-country experience and be able to take on more difficult challenges moving forward in terms of their cross-country flying. We have the summer series. This is quite a new setup, which Matt Page and Pete Hibbard have been pretty instrumental in, and that's helping people who maybe kind of in their around the bronze level to move on to the next step. Some clubs aren't so well set up for cross-country flying, and so therefore it's quite difficult for someone to make that jump from circuit bashing and local soaring through to going cross-country and competing. So with that summer series, it's become a fantastic link between this kind of the more cross-country based element of our sport. We have parties. Yes, we love our flying, but the idea is that we want to be here with mates. There's no point in just flying and just sitting down quietly and thinking about it. It's great to share a meal, share a drink after flying, and it's a really important part of all of the above. Apart from maybe the bronze lectures, actually I missed that. But yeah, the parties have been really important to keep people social and enjoying themselves. I missed out bronze lectures. Again, helping at the winter series, we're going to be doing them online, helping people get across that. They're boring. We know bronze is boring. We've just got to get through it, and making it as interesting, and to help people get through it, pass it first time, so we can get on and do the really fun flying. And we've got a Facebook page, which hopefully you've all used tonight to get to this link. That's our main point of contact for everything we try and do. There are other social media outlets out there, but Facebook seems to give us the widest range in terms of our videos, our links to events and that sort of thing, and that's what we're going to continue to use until we find something better to spread the word. And then presentations such as this, we've struggled over the to think of what to do over this autumn. The last thing we want to do is just to think, oh, we'll just assume everyone's going to come back in the spring or in the summer whenever this COVID rubbish clears off. We want to engage with you guys, and we want to engage with the clubs. We want to engage with people who want their careers, want to better their flying, want to listen to some stories. It's the best we can do at the moment. So we hope we're going to put a little bit of effort in on our behalf to hopefully help engage everyone out there to keep flying with us, even if it's just sat on the ground playing Condor. It's better than nothing. Okay, next slide. Okay, it's a fairly obvious slide. Who's actually doing this? So we've got the UK Junior Development Team. It was initially set up as Charlie Jordan, myself, Matt Davis and Saz Reed. We're going grey, getting old, miserable, so we needed some more young people coming in, and people like, I won't go through the whole team because it's quite an extensive team now, but people like Lucy and Matt Page isn't actually live on here, but people like those guys have come in and really taken the burden off us. So I'm trying to bring up 2 kids, and it's been really nice to be able to take a step back and let those guys put their own stamp on it as well. And we really want people to offer to help. If you want to come and help us out, please do. We don't have monthly meetings or anything you've got to worry about. It's WhatsApp group, meet over a beer every now and again, but there's nothing too serious about it. We hope the serious work has been done setting up junior gliding centres, the boring stuff and the important admin stuff. So it's really rewarding and interesting side of things. And then we've got the BGA, who they put a lot of effort in. People like Andy Perkins, the effort they've put in over the years silently with regard to getting scholarships and the Caroline Trust, or they're called Launch Point now. They've been backing us, leaving us to our own devices, that we're not, they don't kind of get in our way at all. They guide us when we need guidance, but we're allowed to look after ourselves, and I think that's great, the way the BGA allow us to have built our brand. So right, what's next during COVID? Lucy, do you want to talk about this bit then? You're on mute at the moment.
Yeah, so we've got a few things planned over the next 6 weeks, and then we're going to have a more detailed look at things in the new year as to whether we can do a smaller scale winter series with groups of people meeting up at particular clubs, just in small groups, but all on the same weekend, and we can share our experiences that way. But yeah, so this is the kind of plan for this eWinter series coming up in the next few weeks, starting today. So as you can see here, we've got 6 Condor races coming up in the Condor Championships, and heading this up are Danny Richmond, Freddie Turner, Ben Hughes and Benedict. There's a separate Facebook event already up for that, so if you want to get involved with that, then click going on the event, and you can put any questions you've got on there. You can find the links to sign up, how to log in, how to set up the software and that there. And if you've got any questions, then go to one of those 4 people and they'll help you out with that. Really good fun. So yeah, hope you all enjoy that. Then for those of you that are earlier on in your flying, looking towards doing your bronze, we've got a couple of bronze lectures coming up. First one on communications, and the next one on air law and ATC, which can sound a bit dry, but they're a really important part of the bronze syllabus. And doing those, we've got Jordan Bridge and Michael Harrison, both juniors that fly from Lasham and instructors there. And Jordan's the deputy chief flying instructor, and they've both got lots of experience with doing these talks. So that'll be really good for any of you that are working towards your bronze. So I'd write those down and make sure you join for that meeting. And then we've got a series of other talks of various things. First one coming up is about transitioning from gliding to power flying. So as Poz mentioned, there's quite a lot of people that want to get onto flying as a career or more into aviation, and Alex Harris is going to talk to us about that. I remember when I first started in junior gliding in 2013, he was flying a little K6 at the Mind. Now he's an airline pilot and instructs both in gliding and power flying, and flies a Cassette 2 racer in air display. So he's done quite a lot in the past few years. So really knows his stuff about that. So if you're interested in how you can go on to power flying as well as gliding, then make sure you're there for that one. Next talk after that on the 8th of November, first solo to junior here. A lot of you will have heard of Jake Brattle and Finn Slay. So they were on the junior British team that went to the last World Championships, and Jake won. They're great friends and really lovely guys, and they're just going to talk a bit about their progress, how they started and how they got to being on the team and where they are today. Hopefully break down some of the barriers for those of you that would like to aspire to those sort of things while you're a junior. Then after that, we've got Pete Hibbard and Alex O'Keefe are going to talk about what happens when the winds stop and some other questions. And Pete says it's all the questions you've ever wanted to ask, and preferably about gliding. So that should be pretty entertaining. So I'd make sure you're there for that one. Then on the 21st, this is just before the club management conference that the BGA is running. But a bit more about what your club can do to help juniors. So if you've got any other members at your club, if you're a junior and you're keen for your club to put more in place to help juniors, then I'd recommend you invite some of your club members to join us for that one, and just find out about the support that junior gliding can offer them. Then on the 28th, what can you do within gliding? So Ben Hughes is heading this up. I'm going to invite some other people to come in. So I know Poz mentioned that since I started gliding, I've got into doing glider inspecting, and I also do some instructing. And then people want to go on to be tug pilots and things like that. So how do you go about going down those different avenues in gliding? What do you need to do? So hopefully that'll demystify some of that and help you know how to progress. Then on the 3rd of December, Saz and a guest to be confirmed are going to talk a bit about looking after yourself in flight. Often gets overlooked. So how should you prepare in terms of what food to take, what drink to take, going to the toilet, really practical things like that that people don't often like to talk about too much. So that should be really interesting, help you put a list together and plan ready for when you start doing some more flying next summer. And then at the very end of it all, Emily, Ben and I are going to run a quiz. So it's a bit more of a social event to tie the whole series together. So we've been working on some of the rounds for that. They're going to be quite quirky, so not just your standard pub quiz. So I hope we see quite a few of you there. All the events, so all the Condor races, all the talks and the bronze lectures start at 8 p.m. And if you want to come for any of the talks or the bronze lectures, you need to register using the link there, which you've all managed to do already because you're all here. But it's always the same place for each thing. So yeah, that's the kind of eWinter series coming up this side of Christmas, and then we'll have another look after Christmas as to whether we can do anything in person next year or not for the rest of the winter series. But yeah, if you've got any questions, you can ask them at the end. Cool. I'll hand back to Poz.
Oh, thanks, Lucy. And that list, you know, I really thank everybody who's offered to help. We've actually had to. There'll be some more talks in the new year as well. We've had so many people offer to help us out with various different presentations. So a massive thank you to those guys. It's there should be some interesting ones, and the one particularly with Saz, I'm definitely going to be tuning in for that one. Anyway, right, you'll be happy to know we're nearly wrapping up now. So what can you do? It seems obvious, but try and, you know, bring people along, get mates along, whether you're at work, whether you're at uni, school, whatever it may be, bring your parents along. Just the more people we get try our sport, the more we'll get stay with our sport and say, you know, keep the sport growing. And that's really important, I think. And also keep flying. I was guilty of it, and I'm sure we all have been. It's been so easy just to, oh, it's too cold, too wet, can't be bothered, you know, to sit in front of the TV. Actually, this winter, get out, get to your local club, help paint the clubhouse, even if you can't fly, but just try and get to the airfield and fly. Even if it's as a winch launch at the end of the day, it helps, whether it's revision or whether you're just fed up with COVID or whatever it is, it really does help. You know, keep doing that. And just use social media. It's you know, Instagram's fantastic for it, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it may be. Just keep that flying out there. The more of us do it, the more people see it and think, oh, looks pretty good. And I'm not exaggerating here. We've got a lot of young pilots now who have seen their friends or on, as I said, a YouTube channel, and kind of got into the sport. Anyway, I kind of hope it's a very brief rundown of what junior gliding is and what we want from you guys and what you can expect from us. We work hard as we can. Everyone's a volunteer in this. No one's paid to do anything. So I really appreciate everyone that puts the time in, both running the events and turning up at the events. All those pictures we put up aren't just one event that we've lucked out with a few people. We've done years of winter series, decades of junior nationals that people keep turning up, people keep loving it, keep enjoying it. And we're just the people who are running it at the moment, and we're desperate to keep that going and kind of we try and encourage people to really enjoy themselves. And so the rest of autumn, I hope you enjoy what we've put on for you. And if you've got any ideas that you'd like to do a presentation or something, please do let us know. So other than that, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. Lucy, have you got anything to add?
No, I think that's it for me. Just if anyone's got any questions, then put them in the chat thing, and we'll answer you.
Yeah, well, we won't hang around too long. But the other thing is that if you've got any questions as well, just send them on to the Facebook page. Loads of us monitor the Facebook page on the Messenger, or email us. I think it's ukjuniorgliding@gmail.com. Send us a question if you want to know, got some issue, whatever it may be. More than happy to help. Or if we can't help, we'll pass you on to someone who can help. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you again for everyone giving up your Saturday evenings, and we'll see you. I can't remember what next week's presentation is, but I think the next one is we've got Condor next for the next couple of Thursdays, and then Saturday the 31st is the bronze lecture with Jordan. And Jordan particularly, I love the chap. He's started off as a quiet kid at Denby in the Winter Series, and now he's a DCFI at the biggest gliding club in the world and a top chap with it. So that'll be good. So anyone that needs their bronze, tune in. Anyway, thanks very much. I think, should we leave it there, Lucy?
Yeah, I think so. I've got a few people typing.